Success is something many people want, but very few truly understand. Most people think success happens because of luck, talent, or perfect opportunities, but in reality, success is usually built through habits, discipline, consistency, and the way a person thinks every single day. It is not created overnight, and it rarely comes from one big moment. Real success is often the result of small actions repeated consistently over long periods of time. Many people stay stuck because they focus too much on motivation and not enough on discipline. They wait for the perfect moment to start improving, but successful people learn how to move forward even when they do not feel motivated. They understand that growth requires patience, sacrifice, and the ability to stay focused when distractions, stress, and difficulties appear. Success is also not only about money or status. A truly successful person has control over their habits, emotions, mindset, and direction in life. They know how to manage their time, protect their energy, and continue improving even during difficult periods. Over time, these small daily decisions create confidence, progress, and opportunities that other people never build because they quit too early or become distracted. In this video, we will go through powerful habits and mindset shifts that can help you become more disciplined, focused, productive, and successful in every area of life. Rule 1: Build discipline before motivation. Many people wait to feel motivated before they take action, but this mindset is one of the biggest reasons they stay stuck for so long. Motivation feels powerful in the moment because it creates excitement, energy, and temporary confidence. The problem is that motivation changes constantly. Some days you feel inspired and ready to work hard, while other days you feel tired, distracted, stressed, or mentally drained. If your progress depends only on motivation, your consistency will disappear the moment those feelings fade. This is why many people start goals with strong energy but quickly quit when life becomes uncomfortable or difficult. Successful people understand something important very early: discipline matters more than motivation. Discipline is the ability to continue doing what needs to be done even when you do not feel like doing it. It is choosing responsibility over comfort and long-term growth over short-term pleasure. A disciplined person does not rely completely on emotions to decide whether they will work, improve, or stay focused. They build routines and habits that allow them to keep moving forward even during difficult days when motivation is low. One reason discipline is so powerful is because life will never always feel perfect or easy. There will always be distractions, stress, pressure, setbacks, and moments where you feel unmotivated. Waiting for the perfect mood or perfect timing often becomes an excuse that delays progress for months or even years. Many people waste too much time saying they will start tomorrow, next week, or when they feel ready. But mature and successful people understand that action creates momentum, and momentum often creates motivation afterward. In many cases, you do not feel motivated first, you become motivated after you begin taking action consistently. Building discipline also strengthens confidence and self-respect over time. Every time you follow through on your responsibilities instead of avoiding them, you slowly build trust in yourself. You prove to your mind that your words and actions match. This creates internal confidence because you stop depending on temporary emotions and start depending on consistent behavior instead. Over time, disciplined habits become part of your identity, and success starts feeling more stable because your progress is no longer controlled by mood alone. Another important lesson is that discipline is built through small daily actions, not huge dramatic changes. Many people fail because they try to completely change their lives overnight. They create unrealistic expectations, become overwhelmed quickly, and lose consistency after a short period. Real discipline grows slowly through repetition. Waking up on time, staying focused, exercising regularly, controlling distractions, finishing tasks, and keeping promises to yourself may seem small individually, but repeated daily, these habits completely transform a person over time. Discipline also teaches emotional control. There will always be moments where comfort feels more attractive than effort. Sleeping longer feels easier than waking up early. Scrolling on your phone feels easier than working on your goals. Quitting feels easier than continuing during difficult moments. But successful people learn how to act based on values and long-term vision instead of temporary feelings. They understand that short-term comfort often creates long-term regret, while short-term discipline creates long-term growth and freedom. Over time, building discipline before motivation changes your entire mindset. You stop depending on emotional highs to move forward and start becoming someone who can stay consistent regardless of circumstances. And in the end, consistency is what creates results, because success is rarely built through rare moments of motivation, it is built through disciplined actions repeated every single day. Rule 2: Protect your time and energy. One of the biggest differences between successful people and unsuccessful people is how they manage their time and energy. Every person has the same 24 hours in a day, but not everyone uses those hours wisely. Many people waste large amounts of time on distractions, unnecessary drama, endless entertainment, gossip, overthinking, and situations that add no real value to their lives. Over time, these small distractions slowly steal focus, discipline, and opportunities without people fully realizing how much potential they are losing. Successful people understand that time is one of the most valuable things they have because once it is gone, it can never be recovered. Protecting your time means becoming more intentional about where your attention goes every day. Many people live without structure, reacting to whatever appears in front of them instead of controlling their schedule and priorities. Hours disappear through social media scrolling, meaningless conversations, constant notifications, and activities that create temporary comfort but no long-term growth. At first, these habits may seem harmless because they provide entertainment or distraction, but repeated daily, they slowly destroy productivity and focus. A successful person learns that every hour spent carelessly is an hour taken away from progress, discipline, and self-improvement. Energy is just as important as time because not everything drains you physically, many things drain you mentally and emotionally too. Negative people, constant stress, toxic relationships, unnecessary arguments, and environments filled with negativity can slowly exhaust your mind without you noticing it immediately. When your mental energy becomes low, motivation weakens, focus disappears faster, and even simple tasks begin feeling difficult. This is why successful people become very careful about the environments and people they allow close to them. They understand that protecting peace of mind is necessary for maintaining focus and consistency. Another important lesson is learning how to say no. Many people waste their energy trying to please everyone, constantly giving attention to things that do not align with their goals or priorities. They become emotionally exhausted because they feel responsible for everyone else while neglecting themselves. Mature and successful people understand that saying no is not selfish when it protects your peace, your goals, and your future. You cannot build a strong life if your attention is constantly scattered everywhere. Protecting your energy also means taking care of yourself physically and mentally. Poor sleep, unhealthy habits, lack of rest, and constant stress slowly weaken productivity and emotional control. A tired mind struggles to stay disciplined and focused. This is why successful people value routines that support their physical and mental well-being because they understand that performance depends heavily on energy levels and mental clarity. Over time, protecting your time and energy creates a more focused and intentional life. You stop giving attention to things that constantly drain you and begin investing more energy into growth, discipline, learning, and meaningful goals. Your mind becomes clearer, your priorities become stronger, and distractions lose some of their power over you. And in the end, success often depends less on doing more things and more on protecting your focus from the things that quietly pull you away from your potential every single day. Rule 3: Stop procrastinating and take action. Procrastination is one of the biggest reasons many people never reach their full potential. A lot of people have goals, ideas, and dreams, but very few take consistent action toward them. Instead of starting immediately, they delay everything until later. They tell themselves they will begin tomorrow, next week, next month, or when life feels easier. The problem is that waiting often becomes a habit, and over time that habit slowly destroys progress, confidence, and opportunities. Days turn into months, and months turn into years while nothing truly changes because action never happens. One reason procrastination is so dangerous is because it feels comfortable in the moment. Avoiding difficult tasks gives temporary relief from stress, pressure, or fear. Scrolling on social media, watching videos, sleeping longer, or distracting yourself with entertainment feels easier than facing responsibilities directly. But while comfort feels good temporarily, it often creates frustration later because deep down you know you are avoiding the work that could improve your life. Short-term comfort slowly creates long-term regret when repeated every day. Many people also procrastinate because they overthink everything. They wait for the perfect plan, perfect timing, or perfect mindset before starting. But success rarely comes from waiting until everything feels perfect. In reality, most successful people start before they feel fully ready. They understand that clarity and confidence usually come after action, not before it. The longer you wait, the heavier tasks begin to feel mentally because fear and doubt continue growing inside your mind. Another reason people procrastinate is fear of failure. Some men avoid taking action because they are afraid of making mistakes, looking foolish, or failing publicly. But maturity teaches you that failure is part of growth. Every successful person has made mistakes, struggled, and failed many times while improving. The difference is that they continued moving forward instead of allowing fear to stop them completely. A man who never takes action because he fears failure usually stays stuck in the exact same place for years. Taking action builds momentum and confidence. Every time you complete something difficult instead of avoiding it, you strengthen discipline and self-respect. Your mind begins trusting you more because your actions finally match your intentions. Small actions may not seem important in the moment, but repeated consistently, they slowly build major progress over time. This is why successful people focus less on perfection and more on consistency. They understand that small progress every day is far more powerful than waiting for one perfect moment. Maturity also teaches that motivation is unreliable. Some days you feel inspired, and other days you feel mentally tired or distracted. If you only work when motivation appears, your progress will always remain inconsistent. Discipline means learning how to act even when you do not feel like it. It means understanding that growth often happens during the moments where you push yourself beyond comfort and excuses. Over time, learning to stop procrastinating changes your entire mindset. You stop wasting energy thinking about what you could do and start building confidence through real action instead. Life becomes more productive, focused, and meaningful because you are no longer constantly delaying your own growth. And in the end, many people do not fail because they lack ability, they fail because they waited too long to begin. Rule 4: Learn from failure instead of fearing it. Many people never reach success because they are too afraid of failure. The fear of making mistakes, being judged, losing, or looking weak keeps them stuck in the same place for years. Instead of taking action, they spend most of their time overthinking, doubting themselves, and avoiding risks completely. The problem is that avoiding failure also means avoiding growth. A man who is too afraid to fail often becomes too afraid to truly live, improve, or challenge himself beyond his comfort zone. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of the process that leads to success. Every successful person has failed many times before achieving results. They made mistakes, experienced setbacks, lost opportunities, and faced difficult moments that tested their confidence and discipline. The difference is that they did not allow failure to stop them permanently. Instead of seeing failure as proof that they were incapable, they used it as feedback and experience that helped them improve. One reason failure feels so painful is because many people connect their self-worth to their results. When something goes wrong, they immediately feel like they are not good enough. But maturity teaches you that failing at something does not make you a failure as a person. It simply means you are learning, adjusting, and gaining experience through real action. A man who never fails usually never pushes himself beyond what already feels safe and familiar. Another dangerous mindset is expecting success to happen without setbacks. Social media often makes success look fast and easy, but real growth usually involves frustration, mistakes, rejection, and periods where progress feels slow or invisible. Many people quit too early because they assume failure means they should stop trying. In reality, failure often teaches the lessons that success never could. Struggles build patience, discipline, resilience, and emotional strength in ways comfort never will. Learning from failure also requires honesty and self-awareness. Instead of blaming everyone else or making excuses, mature people ask themselves important questions after setbacks. What went wrong? What can I improve? What lesson can I take from this experience? This mindset transforms failure into growth because every mistake becomes an opportunity to become wiser and stronger instead of becoming more bitter or discouraged. A disciplined man understands that failure is temporary unless he decides to quit completely. One bad moment, one rejection, or one mistake does not define an entire future. What truly matters is the ability to keep moving forward despite disappointment and setbacks. Confidence is not built by avoiding difficulties, it is built by surviving them, learning from them, and continuing anyway. Over time, learning to stop fearing failure creates courage and freedom. You begin taking more action because you understand that mistakes are part of growth, not proof of weakness. Instead of staying trapped in fear and hesitation, you start building experience, resilience, and confidence through action itself. And in the end, many successful people are not the ones who failed the least, they are the ones who refuse to stop after failing. Rule 5: Stay consistent even when results are slow. One of the hardest parts of becoming successful is continuing to work when results are not showing up quickly. Most people start with excitement and motivation, but the moment progress becomes slow or invisible, they begin doubting themselves. They feel like their effort is pointless because they expected success to happen much faster. This is where many people quit. They stop too early, not because they lacked potential, but because they lost patience during the process. Real success usually happens slowly. Growth is often invisible in the beginning because small daily improvements do not always create immediate results. Whether you are building discipline, learning skills, improving your mindset, growing financially, or changing your life completely, progress takes time. The problem is that modern life has trained many people to expect instant results and quick rewards. When things move slowly, frustration grows quickly, and consistency becomes difficult to maintain. A disciplined man understands that slow progress is still progress. He does not allow temporary emotions to control whether he continues or quits. Some days feel productive and rewarding, while other days feel exhausting and discouraging. There will be moments where you work hard and still feel like nothing is changing. But successful people continue anyway because they understand that consistency creates results long before those results become visible on the outside. Another reason consistency is difficult is because people compare their progress to others constantly. Social media makes it seem like everyone else is succeeding faster, achieving more, and reaching goals quickly. But every person has a different path, different struggles, and different timing in life. Comparing your early stages to someone else's finished results only creates unnecessary pressure and discouragement. Mature people stop obsessing over other people's timelines and focus on improving themselves little by little every day. Consistency also builds something even more valuable than success itself: discipline and self-respect. Every time you continue despite slow results, you strengthen your mindset and prove to yourself that you can stay committed even during difficult periods. This creates confidence because your mind starts trusting your ability to keep going instead of constantly quitting whenever things become uncomfortable. Many people fail because they expect motivation to carry them forever. But motivation fades quickly when life becomes stressful, repetitive, or difficult. Consistency means learning how to continue even when motivation disappears. It means showing up repeatedly, even on days where you feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. Small actions repeated daily may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they completely transform your life. A mature mindset understands that success is often built quietly before anyone notices it. Strong habits, discipline, focus, emotional control, and resilience all develop slowly through repetition. The results may not appear immediately, but every consistent action is building something in the background. Most people quit before they ever see the rewards of their effort because they underestimate how long real growth can take. Over time, staying consistent despite slow results separates disciplined people from everyone else. You stop depending on instant rewards and start focusing on long-term growth instead. And in the end, many successful people are not necessarily the most talented. They are simply the ones who stayed committed long enough for their effort to finally pay off. Rule 6: Surround yourself with the right people. The people around you have a powerful influence on your mindset, habits, discipline, and overall direction in life. Whether you realize it or not, you slowly absorb the energy, behavior, and thinking patterns of the people you spend the most time with. This is why your environment matters so much when it comes to success. A man surrounded by negativity, laziness, constant distraction, and unhealthy habits will usually struggle to stay focused and disciplined for long. On the other hand, being around motivated, disciplined, and growth-focused people naturally pushes you to think bigger and improve yourself. Many people stay connected to unhealthy friendships and environments simply because they are familiar or comfortable. They surround themselves with people who gossip constantly, waste time every day, complain about life without taking action, or discourage anyone trying to improve. Over time, this kind of environment slowly destroys ambition because negativity becomes normal. When the people around you have no goals, no discipline, and no desire to grow, it becomes harder to stay mentally strong and focused yourself. A successful man eventually realizes that not everyone deserves access to his time, energy, and attention. Maturity teaches you to pay attention to how people affect your mindset after spending time with them. Do they inspire growth or create distraction? Do they encourage your goals or secretly laugh at your ambition? Do they support you honestly, or only appear when things benefit them? These questions become important because the wrong people can quietly hold you back for years without you noticing it immediately. Another important lesson is understanding that success is not only about finding successful people financially. It is about surrounding yourself with people who have discipline, emotional control, honesty, loyalty, positive habits, and strong values. Someone who encourages accountability, growth, consistency, and self-respect brings far more value into your life than someone who constantly spreads negativity and chaos, even if they appear entertaining or popular. Choosing the right people also protects your mental energy. Toxic relationships, constant drama, jealousy, manipulation, and negativity slowly drain focus and emotional stability. A man who spends all his energy dealing with unnecessary stress often struggles to stay productive and disciplined. This is why successful people become careful about their circle. They understand that protecting peace and focus is necessary for long-term growth. Maturity also teaches that having fewer real people around you is better than having many fake or shallow relationships. Many people chase attention, popularity, and social validation, but real growth often happens in smaller circles built on trust, respect, and mutual improvement. A few genuine people who support your growth honestly are more valuable than large groups that distract you from your goals. Over time, surrounding yourself with the right people changes the way you think and live. You become more disciplined, more focused, and more motivated naturally because your environment supports growth instead of weakness. The right people challenge you to become better, hold you accountable, and inspire you to keep improving even during difficult moments. And in the end, many men either grow or stay stuck based largely on the people they allow closest to them every single day. Rule 7. Develop a strong and positive mindset. Success begins in the mind long before it appears in reality. The way a man thinks affects how he handles pressure, responds to problems, views opportunities, and reacts to failure. A weak mindset often creates excuses, fear, negativity, and self-doubt, while a strong mindset creates discipline, resilience, confidence, and emotional control. This is why developing a strong and positive mindset is one of the most important parts of becoming successful in any area of life. Many people allow negative thinking to control their daily lives without realizing how much damage it causes over time. They constantly focus on what could go wrong, doubt themselves before even trying, and expect failure before taking action. Small setbacks quickly destroy their motivation because their mindset automatically turns problems into proof that they are incapable. Over time, this way of thinking weakens confidence and creates fear of growth because the mind becomes trained to expect disappointment instead of progress. A strong mindset does not mean pretending life is always easy or perfect. Everyone experiences stress, pain, failure, rejection, and difficult periods. The difference is in how you respond to those situations mentally. A strong man learns how to stay calm during pressure instead of panicking immediately. He focuses on solutions instead of only complaining about problems. He understands that difficult moments are temporary and that challenges are often part of growth instead of signs to quit. Positive thinking also does not mean ignoring reality or living in fantasy. Real positivity is built on discipline, self-awareness, and perspective. It means believing improvement is possible even when progress feels slow. It means choosing to keep moving forward despite setbacks instead of becoming trapped in negativity and hopelessness. A positive mindset allows a person to keep trying, learning, and improving instead of giving up after every difficult moment. Another important lesson is that your thoughts slowly become your habits, and your habits eventually shape your life. A man who constantly tells himself he is weak, unlucky, incapable, or doomed to fail slowly starts acting according to those beliefs. But a man who trains himself to think with confidence, patience, and resilience begins approaching life differently. He takes more action, handles pressure better, and becomes mentally stronger over time because his mindset supports growth instead of fear. The environment around you also affects your mindset heavily. Constant negativity, toxic people, endless complaining, and unhealthy content slowly influence the way you think. This is why successful people protect their mental environment carefully. They pay attention to what they consume mentally every day because they understand that the mind absorbs whatever it experiences repeatedly. Positive habits, strong routines, good influences, learning, and self-discipline all help strengthen the mindset over time. Developing a strong mindset also requires emotional control. Life will always bring situations that test your patience, confidence, and focus. There will be moments where quitting feels easier than continuing. But mentally strong people learn how to control their reactions instead of letting emotions control every decision. They understand that temporary feelings should not decide long-term actions. Over time, building a strong and positive mindset changes every area of life. You become more resilient during difficult moments, more focused on solutions, and less controlled by fear and negativity. Challenges stop feeling like the end of the world and start becoming opportunities to grow stronger mentally and emotionally. And in the end, success often starts with the ability to control your thoughts, protect your mindset, and continue believing in growth even during the moments where life feels difficult. Rule 8: Focus on long-term growth, not short-term comfort. One of the biggest reasons many people never become truly successful is because they constantly choose short-term comfort over long-term growth. Human beings naturally move toward what feels easy, pleasurable, and comfortable in the moment. Sleeping longer feels easier than waking up early. Watching entertainment feels easier than working on goals. Avoiding difficult conversations feels easier than facing problems directly. These small choices may seem harmless at first, but repeated every day, they slowly shape the direction of a person's life. Over time, comfort becomes a habit, and growth becomes something people only talk about instead of actually pursuing. Short-term comfort usually gives temporary satisfaction but creates long-term frustration. Many people spend years avoiding discomfort, discipline, and responsibility because they want immediate pleasure or relief. The problem is that real growth almost always requires some level of discomfort. Building discipline, improving health, learning new skills, controlling emotions, and chasing meaningful goals all require effort, patience, and sacrifice. There will be moments where growth feels difficult, repetitive, and mentally exhausting. But mature and successful people understand that temporary discomfort often creates long-term freedom, confidence, and stability. A man focused only on comfort often becomes trapped in cycles of procrastination, distraction, laziness, and excuses. He avoids difficult work, delays responsibilities, and constantly searches for easier paths instead of building discipline. At first, this lifestyle may feel relaxing, but over time it usually creates regret because deep down he knows he is capable of more. Comfort without growth slowly turns into stagnation. The mind becomes weaker because it gets used to avoiding challenges instead of overcoming them. Long-term growth requires patience because meaningful results rarely happen quickly. Many people quit too early because they do not see immediate rewards for their effort. They want success without sacrifice, confidence without discipline, and progress without struggle. But life rarely works that way. Strong habits, emotional control, financial stability, knowledge, confidence, and real success are usually built slowly through consistent daily effort. Successful people understand that the actions they repeat today are shaping the future version of themselves little by little. Another important lesson is that discomfort is often temporary, but the rewards of discipline can last for years. Exercising feels difficult in the moment, but it creates long-term strength and health. Studying and learning require focus and effort, but they create knowledge and opportunity later. Controlling emotions during difficult moments feels hard, but it creates maturity and stability over time. Short-term discomfort often becomes the price of long-term growth and peace. Maturity also teaches balance. Focusing on long-term growth does not mean never resting or never enjoying life. Rest and enjoyment are healthy when balanced properly. The problem begins when comfort becomes your main priority instead of growth. Successful people know when to relax, but they do not allow comfort to completely control their habits and decisions. They stay focused on who they are trying to become instead of only chasing what feels easy today. Over time, choosing long-term growth changes your mindset completely. You become more disciplined, more patient, and more focused because your decisions are no longer based only on temporary feelings. Instead of asking yourself what feels easiest right now, you begin asking what will help you become stronger, wiser, and more successful in the future. And in the end, the difference between growth and regret often comes down to whether a man chooses temporary comfort or long-term improvement consistently throughout his life. Many people dream about success, but very few are willing to stay disciplined long enough to build it. Real growth happens when you stop waiting for perfect conditions and start improving yourself little by little every day. Small actions may not seem important in the moment, but over time they create confidence, strength, opportunities, and real progress. The truth is that becoming successful is less about luck and more about who you become during the process. The stronger your mindset, habits, and discipline become, the more your life begins to change. And if this video helped you, start applying these lessons in your daily life. Like the video. Subscribe for more mindset and self-improvement content.